And today we got David Hildebrand on with a little late night episode. We want to talk a few things. David Hildebrand, welcome back to the show.
How's it going? It's not that late, guys. It's only 8.
Well, on the East Coast in Dennis Kucinich land, where we're getting bad numbers, not happy numbers, it's getting kind of late. But even still, it's 8 o'clock over here. How's the campaign going?
We're still as busy as always. We're actually printing out some yard signs, so we're going to be even busier passing those out. We have canvassers out, and we're actually pushing a knock all doors campaign. Basically, if you want to, we'll send you a pack of flyers, and you just go out and do what you want to do with them. Knock every door, give them to your friends, plaster parking lots, do whatever you want, because we're at the end now, the last month, and we're really trying to push flyers out.
Okay, that's awesome. Where are you going to next?
I'm actually doing another Northern California trip. I'm going to get Redding, Shasta, and Chico in. I know I've been to Chico like 7 times, but I'm going back there sort of as a post getting the Chico Our Revolution endorsement meeting. So I'll be doing that next.
You recently got your 9th Our Revolution endorsement. How that's pretty awesome, because I don't see another candidate coming pretty close to that.
No, the other candidates are 3 and 2, and the one with 3 has an overlap. So we're dual endorsed by one of the same clubs. So it's actually I'm well in the lead. I don't know if we'll be able to close enough Our Revolution locals before the June 5th election, or even close enough to it that we could get that endorsement. But we're doing what we can to get it.
Yeah, I know people can nominate candidates for the National Our Revolution, so I know people are doing that as well.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke, Dave.
Well, I wanted to bring up something that was interesting. Pasta and I were looking it over on the California statewide direct primary, the official voters guide. When you go and open the front page on the a little bit of the candidates, you see the front page is this. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Who is that? I don't recognize that guy.
And other candidates were in there, like Allison Hartson, a Green Party member. And I just wanted to ask you, why weren't you in there?
So when I went to put my name on the ballot, it cost over $3,000. So at the time, we had about $2,000 left in the bank. So I wrote up a candidate statement that was going to cost about $2,200. The reason why I say it was going to cost that much is because it's $25 a word to get a candidate statement. So if you want to know how much each candidate statement costs, take the full number of words and multiply that by $25. So the full candidate statement is over $6,000. So this is what candidates have to pay just to get that statement. Now, we obviously could have done a shorter statement, but we also had 4 different events scheduled in LA area and in Northern California. So if we would have put that through, then we would have had to stay home for pre-planned events that we already arranged with everyone. And we don't skip out on events. So we bit the bullet and decided not to go ahead with that and just go ahead and go to our events instead. And I think that worked out for the better, because we did get some endorsements out of those events. So it worked out for us.
But isn't there a big importance to get your name on that ballot, or excuse me, that information guide and your picture and your statement? Because I believe that a lot of the people are not really inclined voters. So they look at this voters guide as a very big important part of who they're going to vote for.
Yeah, and some people, gave me some grief for that. But at the same time, I mean, at the end of the day, what am I going to do in that situation? I mean, if we had more donations at the time, then that would have been great, but we didn't. We actually had kind of a burst right after then, which allowed us to do a lot more. But at that specific time, we actually didn't have the money to do it. So we would have loved to be in there. That was one of our strategies, was to get that in there. It was only going to be, like I said, a little over 2,000. So like a third of the size of the rest, but unfortunately it wasn't in the cards. So this is one of the effects of high dollar entry fees for grassroots campaigns. And I'm not the only candidate who wasn't able to get a ballot statement in there. So.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you, because a lot of this has come up for discussion. I know plenty of people who are voting for Kevin De Leon because they feel like he has the best shot. And they say that funding is a large issue. large is funding? Like, how big of an issue is funding in regards to your campaign? In regards to grassroots campaigns, should that be the number one thing for a progressive grassroots campaign?
In the current situation, funding is necessary and definitely important. But people ask me how much I've raised, and I tell them I've raised about $25,000 so far, and that's for this whole campaign. And you've seen what I've done with that $25,000. You've seen me travel Chico 7 times, Redding, Weaverville area 3 times, Eureka, up and down the Central Valley, all over the Bay Area, all over LA, San Diego, Hemet, Ventura several times. So I've done all this stuff on that little bit of money. So when it comes down to it, it really isn't about the money as much for grassroots campaign, as long as we can get a lot of support and a lot of volunteers and get the word out there. And I think in this election, there's just so many progressives running that it's not necessarily opponents in this race that are soaking up all the volunteers, but opponents in a lot of other races that are soaking them up. So like in my districts alone, like just where I live, all the districts that encompasses that, from city council, and local dog catcher all the way up to Senate, we have numerous candidates right now that people are volunteering for. So it's just, at the end of the day, it's just the progressive movement. We have a lot of people, but we don't have enough to support every single candidate. So basically what we're doing is what we can with the money we have. And I'm actually amazed at what we've done. I've printed, like, I think during the whole campaign, I think probably 35,000 flyers. And I've got like, maybe 3,000 left. And that's just off the latest batch I just got. We have hundreds of signs coming out. We did 1,000 buttons, and those are all out. We did 2,000 stickers, and all but maybe 200 of those are out. So we've done a lot in this campaign. We're a close-knit, skeleton crew campaign at the core, but we have lots of volunteers and supporters everywhere. So that's what really makes the difference. So, I mean, we'll see on June 5th what happens with votes, but we're feeling actually really good about this campaign.